Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. It is officially December the 18th. On this glorious Thursday, got some awesome Thursday night football going on tonight as the Seattle Seahawks take on the LA Rams. That's a battle for the number one seed in the NFC. Obviously going to play a role in the playoff hunt on down the stretch here as we get closer to the NFL playoffs. What we want to dive into today is Packers versus Bears, the early preview. This is going to be a very surface level preview. We're going to give you the important rankings in terms of winning percentage, offensive scoring, defensive scoring, total offense, total defense, and turnover margin. Kind of talk about where these two teams are settling in after having played just 2 weeks ago, right? It's going to be an awesome one to dive into. And then also on the backside of the show, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears debacle over the stadium. Will they really be moving to Indiana? Think about that. That a team that's one of the most storied, most historic franchises in the history of the National Football League cannot even get a deal worked out for a stadium in arguably what's supposed to be one of the best cities in the country, right? One of the greatest cities in the world, really. In Chicago, you think of New York, you think of all these large cities across the United States, and they can't even come to an agreement on a stadium. We'll give you all the latest details on that. We'll actually hear from the Pat McAfee show as they broke that down as well. So before we get into everything, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for me, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning in to PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us part of your day. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit subscribe, click like, and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time that we do smash that go live button. Let's jump into it. Let's start with a comment real quick, and then we'll jump into the rankings. Andy Dubs in the chat said, worried about Chicago's tight ends versus our pass defense, considering they might not be blocking as much due to Micah's presence. But I'm just a fan, so I don't know. Listen, they've got solid tight end room, right? Colston Loveland is looking like a really, really good tight end. He's off to a great start. Obviously, they got Cole Kmet, who got a little banged up last week, looked ugly at first, but I think he's going to be good to go in terms of the latest injury report. But I have a lot of faith in this defense too, man. I mean, there's a lot of people that, and I'm not saying Andy's saying this, but many people are thinking the Packers defense is just going to go cheeks without Micah Parsons. I'm telling you that I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Hell, we gave up a lot of points to Dallas with Micah on the team, right? We gave up a lot of points last week to Denver. What was it? 34, I believe, is what we ended up giving up, right? Yeah, 34-26 was the loss. So those games are going to happen from time to time. But in terms of how our pass defense is played, we're actually fifth in the league in pass defense in terms of yards per pass attempt. So, Andy, I'm not specifically concerned about that. It's going to come down to more schematically what you're going to do. I think you're going to get back to more fire zone blitzing and things like that. Fire zone blitz, simulated pressure. You'll probably still be bringing 4 at a time, but you're going to be bringing edge in a little more often and dropping the end out from here or there. So I think Hafley, I was listening to him on his press conference, and I think it was yesterday, I think it was yesterday. And he specifically talked about this. They didn't have Micah until the end of training camp. So there was already a defense that they were planning on having without Micah, right? Do you think they were just, oh, gosh, we're going to be horrible? The reality is we finished 5th in scoring defense last year. I think we were sitting 6th going into this week. However, now if we were to sort by points per play, and I'll put this on the screen in just a second, we are currently in the number 7 spot, actually the 6th spot in terms of scoring defense right now. Okay. So we were actually 1 spot higher last year in scoring defense in terms of NFL rankings. So again, I think this defense will be fine. You're just going to have to change some things up. And I'm not overly concerned with their tight ends, me personally. Again, there are some people that immediately shifted the focus and they think we're going to play more man coverage. I'm going, what are we talking about? They pretend they've convinced themselves that that's what we did last year. Like if you look at the coverage from last year and where the Packers finished, we were tied for 6th or 7th best in EPA per dropback. And when you look at the man coverage, guys, we only played 19% man coverage last year. If I remember correctly, we're actually playing more man coverage this year. Let's see. That was 19 last year. And this was a few weeks ago. a couple weeks ago. We need to get the updated numbers. But when you look at it here, yeah, we're at 18% man coverage this year. So again, you're just 1% off where you were last year. There's nothing that's really dramatically changed. I mean, when you look at it, this year we're playing 32% cover 3, right? And then last year we were at 33% cover 3. So everything's right there in the same ballpark. I think some people just come up with their own, I don't know, their own opinion of things that just aren't true, right? The fact that people think that all of a sudden we're going to go back to playing more man coverage. I'm like, what do you mean back to playing more man coverage? We didn't play more man coverage last year. We're right there within 1% or 2 of where we were last year. So just something to kind of keep an eye on there. But let's jump into some of the rankings here. You guys know these are the PTA power rankings. Emilio's supposed to get you guys a link. I know he's been slammed here lately. We're going to get it over in the Patreon group, patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access, where you guys have access to this. But this has been updated this week. So this is everything up to date in terms of our rankings. Now, how do we come up with this? The number on the right, if you're new here, low number wins. And here's everything that goes in: winning percentage, offensive scoring, defensive scoring allowed. And then we got offensive yards per play allowed, yards per play, and then defensive yards per play allowed, along with turnover margin. I feel like those are the most important statistics. It's not the only thing that's important, but if I had to pick a handful of statistics, a handful of team rankings to go, okay, how good are these teams across the league? That's what I would go with. So here are the ranking system right now. You've got the LA Rams 1. We get the Seattle Seahawks 2. So we got number 1 and number 2 teams in our power ranking system going head-to-head tonight, which is wild to think about. Then we got the New England Patriots 3. Your Green Bay Packers are actually in the 4 spot here. I don't know why, but the rankings on the left, just disregard that. But we are number 4 on that list, so we need to get that changed. Looks like I got a little off on my numbers. Let me change that right quick while I'm thinking about it. There we go. Fixed. So Green Bay is your 4th ranked team in terms of our overall score. Now, they're actually tied with Indianapolis. Both of those teams are tied in the 4th spot. Then you got Jacksonville down there in the 6th spot. And then you got Denver in the 7th spot, Detroit Lions in the 8th spot, Houston Texans 9, Philadelphia Eagles 10, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 12th spot there, tied with Buffalo. So that's why those were changed up there. So they're actually both top 4 place. So again, now, where does Chicago land on this list? We got a 13.3 score. Again, low number wins. Chicago is currently ranked 14th on our power rankings. Okay. So with Chicago ranking 14th, how do we get there? How do we get there with Green Bay? Let's go through it. Winning percentage. The Packers have the 10th best winning percentage across the league. Offensive scoring. This is points per play. We are 11th best in the league. Defensive scoring allowed, points per play allowed. We're 6th best in the league. Offensive yards per play, so moving the ball, yards per play, 8th in the league. Yards on defense, 5th in the league, and then 9th in turnover margin. So if we jump down to Chicago, they have the 5th best winning percentage, right? So they have a better winning percentage than the Packers, obviously. Offensive scoring, they are 12th. So they're right behind Green Bay. So Green Bay has actually passed them. When the last time we played them, Green Bay's scoring offense was below Chicago. So we've actually passed them since then. All right. In terms of defensive scoring, so points per play allowed, the Packers are 6th. The Bears are 24th. Now they've climbed a little bit. Last week, I want to say, or the last time we played, I want to say they're around the 26 or 27 spot. You guys can probably check it in the Patreon group. But again, scoring defense is their weak spot. Offensive yards per play, they're moving the ball a little bit better than they're scoring. They're 10th in yards per play. They're 12th in points per play. So 12th in scoring, 10th in yardage. And then, of course, on defense, their scoring defense is ranked 24th. However, their yards per play allowed on defense is ranked 28th. The thing they do well, and they did it against us, is they take the ball away and they protect the football. They're 1st in the National Football League in turnover margin. You guys know that's the number 1 key statistic in a game outside of points scored is when you're playing a game, typically the team who wins the turnover differential will almost always win the game, that coupled with the middle 8. So again, when you look at these from a head-to-head standpoint, it may look like Green Bay has quite the edge here, being 4th on our list and Chicago being all the way down at 14th. But when you really break it down, they have a better winning percentage to the tune of 5 rankings above us, right? Then they've got they're lower than us on scoring on offense by just 1 spot. So that's pretty much a push. We have a significantly better scoring defense. All right. They are 2 spots behind us in offensive yardage. And then they are significantly below us in yards per play allowed on defenses. We were 5th best in the league. They are 28th. However, we're 9th in turnover margin. They're 1st in turnover margin. So that's how the rankings stack up according to our PTA power rankings as it sits right now. And as Chris says, he wants to piss me off. And he says the thumbs up is a soccer ball once again. Everybody spin that football over there for me, all right? If you don't mind, we greatly appreciate y'all hitting like. So there's how the PTA rankings lay out currently. Now let's switch gears and look at a couple other things here real quick in terms of the early preview for the Packers-Bears game. This came across Twitter, and I wanted to share it with you guys and gals. This is over on Fox NFL, all right? Fox Sports NFL, their Twitter account. And this was done by Henry McKenna, okay? This is called the quarterback stock market that he does. So when you look at it here, number one, Matthew Stafford jumps one spot, so he's number one. Josh Allen jumped a spot up to the number 2 position. Drake May dropped 2 spots down to number 3. Jordan Love stayed pat at number 4. So according to the quarterback stock market, Henry McKenna over at Fox NFL, they have Jordan Love as the 4th best quarterback in the league right now. 5th is Jared Goff. 6th is Dak Prescott. 7th is Patrick Mahomes. Of course, Patrick jumped a spot. We'll probably, I don't know if they'll keep him on the list now that his ACL is done or not. We'll see. Bo Nix jumped 2 spots. Again, man, Bo Nix played great last week. He's one of those guys that I think he reminds me of a young Aaron Rodgers. I know I'm going to catch some flack for that, but just the way he plays the game, the arm angles, the ability to, I think he's got crazy athleticism that's really, really underrated to be able to create those secondary window throws and things. I feel like Bo Nix is everything that the mainstream sports media tries to make Caleb Williams out to be. Bo Nix is a much better pocket passer than Caleb Williams. They can both make plays on the run, but Bo Nix in the number 8 spot. Trevor Lawrence, 9. Lamar Jackson, 10. Sam Darnold drops 2 spots at number 11. Joe Burrow dropped 5 spots at number 12. Brock Purdy at 13. And then there is Caleb Williams in the 14 spot. He dropped 3 spots last week. Okay, so with all that being said, why do I want to highlight this? We talked about the rankings, the important rankings on the PTA power rankings, right? Now, let's look at the quarterback matchup. Again, this is just according to Henry McKenna. I'm not saying it's the gospel. We'll talk about where PFF has them here in a second. Jordan Love is the 4th best quarterback in the league. Caleb Williams is 14th best as it sits right now. So when you look at their offensive rankings, and they're right there with the Packers just passed them up in offensive scoring points per play. Why is that? The running game. What did Green Bay do good last time they played? They were able to stop their run. Right. So that's going to come down to it as well. Caleb made some plays on down the stretch in the second half, but you held on for that win because you played with a lead and you forced them out of that running game. And then you kind of start to play the clock a little bit. I know most fans don't like that, but it is what it is. So there is your quarterback rankings and the comparison between Jordan Love and Caleb Williams, according to Fox NFL. Now, let's jump over and look at the quick PFF preview. There's 2 things I want to key in on this is I want to look at the point spread and how it may or may not have changed up to this point. And then I also want to look at the, if I can get it lined up just right here so y'all can see it as best possible. I also want to look at their quarterback rankings and see if they disagree with Fox NFL in terms of the rankings, all right? So when we dive into it here, this is what we've got. The point spread, guys, has shifted. And you see there's a lot of movement down here, boy. It opened up. What did it open up with, guys? PFF had it at 2.5. That has since changed. Obviously, with the Micah news and all that, it's been shifting around. So the market opened up with the Packers being 1.5-point favorites. It's been up and down, up and down, up and down. Now the Packers are officially underdogs on the road in Chicago to the tune of 1 point. So the Bears are 1-point favorites. The money currently, you love to see this, 63% of the money is on the Pack or on the Bears -1. Anytime it's 60% or more of the public on a team, chances are the bookies, at least this season, the house is going to win that bet. All right. So you love to see when your team is on the opposite side of the public's money, 60% or higher. It typically, the chances are in your favor for the bookies to win that. All right. So with that being said, only 37% of the money is on the Packers +1. All right. The money line, not overly concerned about, but essentially they've got the Bears. 52% of the public is on the Bears to win this game outright. The Packers are sitting at 48%. Now, here's what I want to get to. We talked about the Fox rankings, right? Jordan Love 4th, Caleb Williams 14th. The PFF has the Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love with an 89.3 grade, Caleb Williams with a 74.6. All right. And when you look at the rankings, again, remember, Fox had us 4th. They had Caleb 14th. PFF has Jordan Love 8th and Caleb Williams 17th. So both quarterbacks 3 spots lower, I believe, 3 to 4 spots lower than where Fox actually had them at. So just wanted to kind of take a look at that and see where they had them. So really, when you look across the board here, the main thing that Chicago has got going for them, just like the last time we played, is the fact that they win the turnover margin almost always. If we can control the ball, we could take the ball away or just not give the ball away. We got a really good shot of going into Chicago, even banged up. We'll get you guys the latest injury report a little later this evening when everything drops. I know Jaden Reed is back at practice. That's great news. Christian Watson should be good to go. All signs are pointing to that for sure. But when we get to that a little bit later this evening, we'll get you guys all that information. So that's how it's lining up right now for the Packers and the Bears. We'll do another preview probably tomorrow at some point. We'll give you guys a lineup matchup in terms of PFF. I want to hear from everyone in the chat, in the comments section. If you're watching this video back later, let me know how you feel about those rankings. Do you agree with Jordan Love being significantly higher than Caleb Williams? And also the other question, how do you feel about that point spread? Do you think the Bears should be the favorites? Do you think the Packers should be the favorites? Who do you think has the best shot of winning this ball game? Both Packers and Bears fans alike, we want to hear from you in the comments. So let us know that. And if you're a Packer fan, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you know when we go live with future shows like this one right here. All right, now let's shift gears and let's talk a little drama in Chicago. Surprise, surprise. Anybody surprised that the Chicago Bears finally have a good team, right? They finally got a good football team. And what do? They can't even get a stadium. They can't even get anything lined up in terms of this new dome that they wanted to create, right? It just seems like when they're trying to build good business in the Chicagoland area, the team is cheeks. When the team is finally good, now you can't strike a deal for a new stadium. Isn't it funny how everybody else has been able to do that? But with Chicago, man, it just seems like it's always something going on in Chicago. So I want to play this clip from the Pat McAfee show real quick and see what his guys had to say about the Bears potentially moving to, and brace yourself for this, Indiana? The Indiana Bears, the Gary Bear, like what are we even talking about here? This is just a wild thing to go through. So let's dive into it real quick. Again, this is from the McAfee show earlier today, and this is their take on this. Again, as always, when we're playing a McAfee audio clip, make sure there's kids in the room. There may be language. Be prepared for that. Earmuff it, that type of thing. So here we go. Here's the Pat McAfee show earlier today on their Twitter account at Pat McAfee Show, and the audio with them talking about the Bears potentially moving out of Chicago.
Oh, you're going to leave them when they're finally good? Go ahead. Go ahead and leave them when they're finally good, and you finally have a quarterback that's going to throw for 4,000 yards at some point.
At some point. I love that little addition there by Boston Connor.
I'd like to let Mike Braun know, Governor Mike Braun. I appreciate him just being like, hey, we're all ears over here.
Let's go.
Whatever you would like, Governor.
So it sounds like the governor of Indiana is reaching out, right, with a tweet. And his tweet said the Chicago Bears recognize Indiana's pro-business climate, all right, and I am ready to work with them to build a new stadium in Northwest Indiana. This move would deliver a major economic boost, create jobs, and bring another premier NFL franchise to the Hoosier State. Let's get it done. Wild to think about.
Holcomb, the previous governor who did the max amount of terms and ended his time, he was very much like, hey, Indiana, we're open for business. We got a lot of space and opportunity here. We got good taxes and brought in a lot of business. Like Indiana, as you see and you hear about, we host everything. We got a lot going on here. Northwest Indiana, not talked about a lot as like developing.
No.
If Governor Mike Braun was able to throw a Hail Mary to get the Chicago Bears to move to Indiana.
Dude.
Listen to him laughing. Like, this was my response. I'm like, is this real life? I seen the letter from the owner or from the CEO or whatever it was, acting CEO. I'm like, is this a real thing, or am I getting? I literally had to fact check it, and I it's rare I do this with Grok or Chat GPT, but I was like, hey, can you confirm this? I need 5 sources confirming this. And bang, 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 it laid on me. I'm like, holy cow, this is unbelievable.
They built up an entire place. What a move!
I mean, the chirps Bears fans are going to get from this, like, just any, like, we just lost to the Gary Bears this week. I mean, it's not going to be Chicago anymore, and it's going to piss people off that are Bears fans.
It's 31 minutes away. 31 minutes away.
It's nothing.
And that's on Chicago. Look, it's not on the franchise. It's not on, Caleb Williams. You can call them the Boohoo Bears if you want. If you are a Bears fan, you get upset. But hey, it's a business, and it is a winning team that's looking to expand a little bit. Okay, blame your state, blame your city for basically
Blame your
kicking them out.
politics.
Yeah,
There you go. Blame your state, blame your city for basically kicking them out. And isn't it funny too? The people that defend the city of Chicago, they're always talking about, "Oh, that's just BS. That's not real. The city's great and this and that. There's no problems here." It's like they try to paint this beautiful picture, and then on the other side, people make it sound like it's just an absolute war zone. I've been to Chicago. I don't see it either way. It's just funny how everybody kind of gets into their corner, but at the same time, it's like, why would you not want the Bears there, right? Well, the problem is all the economics that surround the city of Chicago. I mean, we've seen it even down here in Tennessee. When you get close to the big cities, you get more hands in government, more hands in the pockets of the people, and any reason to raise the taxes for this and do that. Next thing you know, it's like, hold up a minute. We're paying higher taxes and the city has went downhill. How's that happen? I don't know. Maybe too many hands are in the pockets, right, of the people. But let's continue here.
yeah, blame your politicians.
Yeah, which we can do for everything, it feels like. But let's move along. Joining us now,
I
ladies
hope
and
it
gentlemen,
happens. I hope it.
It's so bad.
Packers fans.
Oh God, they'll be relentless.
I mean, the
They're
names
relentless.
we were throwing out. If the Chicago Bears is historic in the sea
Sure.
and everything, but I mean, they got a chance to rebrand here to not just Chicago. Like, hey, what about what was it? The American Bears.
The American Bears.
Monsters of the Midwest.
Hey, goodbye, Cowboys. You're not America's team. The American Bears
Up there in Gary,
up
Indiana.
there in Gary are America's team. Sorry, Jer.
All the Midwest.
All right. Hey, welcome to Indiana. Hey, welcome to Indiana, Ben Jones or Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I didn't even know his name. Welcome to Indiana, Ben Jones. Oh my gosh, what a wild time, man! I think we got about 20 seconds here, and then we'll go through some other information around it.
Appreciate you.
Caleb. You're gonna
Indiana,
love it.
the new Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Caleb,
Ben
bingo.
Johnson.
Caleb's gonna
Bingo.
love Gary.
Caleb's a big Michael Jackson fan. He might buy Michael Jackson's house.
It's not for sale, brother. Okay, you can actually certainly have
Shit.
it be a part of the entire thing, but let's not get crazy here. Gary's not completely for sale, unless it is.
That's the right price.
Oh man, love it. The guys over there, man, they're hilarious. So again, that was the Pat McAfee show breaking it down, and we're going to get into just a couple of tweets here geared around. I'm not going to read the whole letter, obviously. I had AI do a simple breakdown, and really it's just a lot of political talk. It's just, a bunch of mumbo jumbo, nothing really being said. But Ari Miroff tweeted out, Bears president / CEO Kevin Warren says the team will expand its stadium search, including Northwest Indiana, after Illinois state leadership told the Bears their proposed Arlington Heights Stadium will not be a priority in 2026. So again, they put out a huge, long letter. We're not going to bore you with all of it. That was Kevin Warren that put it out there. Obviously, he's pleading his case as to why this isn't getting done, right? And then, of course, Ben Devine over on Twitter tweeted this out. And I don't even know who Ben Devine is. Decent following, I would imagine. Let's see, 21,000. So looks like they cover the Bears. Here's how fast Indiana is moving, that they have already signed a bill allowing major sports complexes to be built tax-free in Northwest Indiana. Gears are in motion, people. Hashtag the Bears. So again, you talk about tax-free. Now, we know it's not actually going to be tax-free. We know that's some mumbo-jumbo lingo bending right there. However, that's what they're trying to get away from with Chicago, right? Is like, holy cow, man, the taxes just eat everything up. Again, more hands in the pot, obviously. And in terms of what the letter said, I'm going to go rapid fire through just the AI breakdown here, right? It says expanded stadium search. Bears are broadening their new stadium search beyond Arlington Heights to include Northwest Indiana and the wider Chicagoland region. The expansion creates the possibility the team could leave Illinois entirely. The official announcement, obviously, Kevin Warren, some people probably call him Karen Warren. Kevin Warren outlined the shift in a letter to season ticket holders. So that letter we just showed you was actually sent out to season ticket holders. Reason for the shift, the Bears spent years trying to build in Cook County, especially Arlington Heights, but have faced barriers. The organization insists that the expanded search is, quote, isn't about leverage, end of quote, but about finding a path to deliver a world-class stadium. So they're trying to brush it off. Like, no, we just want to make sure the stadium's the best it can be, right? Commitment to Chicago. Warren emphasized the Bears have been in Chicago since 1921 and maintain a commitment to the city and the community. They still want a venue worthy of their fans and team. But Bears fans have been telling us how much better Soldier Field is than Lambeau Field, right? Now, anybody other than Bears fans will tell you it's an absolute dump and it's way out of date. When they refurbished it, they built this excitement. And everybody walked in and said, this looks like a damn spaceship. What did we do? We didn't honor any. That's what I love about the Packers and Lambeau Field. You go in there and it feels just classic. The green iron, right, and the red brick. And it's just like, this feels like the Green Bay Packers. They did not have that feeling going into the refurbished Soldier Field, obviously, right? So it says, funding and political issues. Bears have battled Illinois lawmakers over tax breaks and public funding, around $855 million needed for infrastructure at Arlington Heights. So what's that mean? They're asking the public to kick in, right? Failure to secure cooperation for state officials has complicated plans. Isn't it funny, too, that we get made fun of by franchises like Chicago and you know, others, you know, Dallas and some of these bigger franchises, because we don't have an owner. We're a poverty franchise. Boy, oh boy, you know, that fake stock that you guys got, right? You tell you what the stock does, rather than force all of the money. And again, I know a portion still comes from the public with Lambeau Field. I don't know all the details there. I'm not going to dive too much into it on this particular podcast. But what did they do? They go to their fans and go, hey, we're going to do a stock drive. You want a cool piece of memorabilia? It's a traditional thing with Green Bay. We're the only publicly owned team. So you can see it. You probably can't see it because what I got up here on the screen right now, it's just off screen over here on this side right there, right on the right side of the tree. I've got all my Packers stock. You know what that is to me? That's a donation is what that is. That's all that is. I understand I don't get paid dividends. I understand I'm not actually an owner, right? That I can go make decisions. You know, you can go vote on stuff. You can whatever, you know, go to the shareholder meetings. But that was the team saying, hey, we want to expand the stadium. Hey, we want to do this. Hey, we want to build Titletown. Hell yeah, here's some money. Give me a cool piece of memorabilia I'll throw in. That's the fans run it, as opposed to forcing more and more taxpayers to pay money with something they're not even interested in the city of Chicago, right? So again, just something to kind of keep in mind there. It goes on to say, Plan C, Indiana, moving home games to Indiana as described as a Plan C after other efforts failed. Indiana has passed legislation aimed at attracting pro sports teams, potentially making a target location. Historical context, the Bears have played Chicago for over a century, originally in Decatur before relocating in 1921. So the Bears are just as old as the Packers, obviously. The Packers actually predate the National Football League. I believe the Decatur Staleys, which went on to be the Chicago Bears, you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, that was something that predated the National Football League that was officially founded in 1921 when they had to kind of reorganize everything, right? So, yeah. So again, man, it's gonna be very interesting because Chicago Bears, they're supposed to be the pride and joy, right? The pride and joy of Chicago. Doesn't sound like it to me, man, right? Doesn't sound like it to me at all. It sounds like the city could give a rat's ass whether the Bears stay or not, right? So I just think it would be absolutely hilarious. It would go along with the Chicago Bears reputation, if you will, that not only do they continuously screw things up in the front office, they screw things up with quarterbacks. If Caleb Williams doesn't turn out to be the guy, how many have they missed on in a row now with high draft picks, right? I mean, you chose Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes. Think about that. You chose Justin Fields over other players, right? You chose Caleb Williams over your Jaden Daniels and just, you know, list them out, right? Drake May, some of these. Drake May is arguably, I mean, there's a case to be made that he's the best quarterback in the league. I think he's top 5. Caleb is trying to break into that top 15 consistently, right? So, again, it's just wild to think about how the Bears have fallen to this point. So I want to hear you guys and your take in the comments. I've seen several in here, guys, in the live stream, and I wish I could read them because they were hilarious, but you know how that goes. We don't want to get canceled here too bad. But with all that being said, let us know if you're watching this video back later. Let us know in the comments, how do you feel about the Chicago Bears potentially leaving Indiana? As a Packers fan, I think it's absolutely hilarious that they've even screwed this up, right? And again, one excerpt said too that, no, the Bears are paying completely for the stadium, 100%. But we just need kick in for the infrastructure. What does that mean? Utilities and roads and this and that. Okay. So hold up a minute. So you're not paying for the whole thing. You're asking to play. It sounds like pretty good way to try to hide some money and push a little bit more money onto the public. But nonetheless, it's just it's absolutely wild, the state that the Bears are in terms of trying to get a new stadium. But let us know in the comments, what do you think about the Chicago Bears stadium situation, and what would you think if they moved to Indiana? And you know what? If you're a Packer fan and you just think this whole thing's hilarious like me, hit us with some laughing emojis and a Go Pack Go. I'm sure glad that the people own the Green Bay Packers, and you don't have to worry about this finagling and this and that. You don't have to worry about the crazy tax situation in a huge city that there's so many people that's got their hands in the pot, and all the corruptness and all that. I just love the fact that the Green Bay Packers are where they're at and in the community that they're in with some of the best people on the face of the planet, even the surrounding areas. Obviously, it's just, we are blessed, absolutely blessed to be Packer fans. Let us know in the comments what you think. Hit like, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. Like tonight, I got some work to do, so got a few hours trying to get Chalk Talk ready for you guys and gals. We'll be going live at 6 p.m. Central for Chalk Talk, breaking down, I think we got 19 plays from the Denver Broncos game. There's a lot of good in there. There's some bad. We're going to come away going, okay, we're still doing that at an elite level. We're playing really good football, but also these are the things you need to clean up. This is what they did schematically to get by us, them being obviously the Denver Broncos in the second half. We'll break all of that down this evening, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. So make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon. We'll see you guys then. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack Go.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.